Hello students, welcome to Stuti Academy. I'm Poonam Sharma, your science teacher. Welcome you all another session of chapter number 1, chemical reactions and equations of class 10. In previous class, I told you about chemical reactions, how do we define them, what are the characteristics of a chemical reaction, what are reactants and products, and what are the characteristics involved in a chemical reaction like evolution of gas, change in color, change in state of substances, change in temperature, and formation of precipitate. All these characteristics I have already explained in detail in previous class. And how can we represent a chemical equation? This also I have already explained to you. And if you have any doubt or any query related to this topic, you can write in the chat box. Types of balanced chemical equation and unbalanced chemical equations also I have covered, and law of conservation of mass. I have already discussed about hit and trial method to balance a chemical equation. Now, what information do we get when we write any chemical equation? This also I have covered in previous class. Now, in today's class, I'll explain you about types of chemical reactions. There are n number of chemical reactions like combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, neutralization reaction, exothermic reaction, and oxidation and reduction reactions. So I'll explain all these reactions one by one in detail. First is combination reaction. As the name itself says, combination. It means combining. When two or more reactants combine together, they form a product. So it's a combination of two or more substances. It results in the formation of a product. So as you can see here in this example, when magnesium reacts with oxygen, it results in the formation of magnesium oxide. Here, these two are the reactants. These two substances, when combined together, they form this product, which is magnesium oxide. If we'll look at this reaction, just tell me whether this is balanced chemical reaction or unbalanced one. Yes, this is unbalanced chemical equation. How can we say that it's a unbalanced chemical equation or this equation is not balanced? So by using hit and trial method, first of all, we need to write down the name of the elements involved in a chemical reaction. And those elements are, just tell me, what are those elements? Yes, first is magnesium and the second one is oxygen. Now just count the number of molecules present on both the sides. If we see on the reactant side, here magnesium is merely 1 in number. And on the product side, it is, as you can see here, 2 in number. I'm using here hit and trial method to balance this chemical equation. And oxygen on the reactant side, it's 2 in number. And on the product side, it's again 2 in number. So if we look at both the elements, only oxygen is balanced in this case. So can we say that it's a balanced chemical equation? Yes, it is not a balanced chemical equation. So we need to balance it. How can we balance it? So what number I'll write so that the entire equation will get balanced? And where should I write that number? Yes, I'll write that number in front of magnesium. Now just compare on both the sides. Here magnesium is 2, here magnesium is 2. Here oxygen is 2 and here also oxygen is 2. If you remember, I told you if I write this number, it is applicable to both. So, if I write 2 here, it becomes a balanced chemical equation now. Another example of combination reaction is when carbon comes in contact with oxygen. As you can see here, it results in the formation of carbon dioxide gas. When carbon dioxide gas is formed, again by using hit and trial method, we'll just check whether the equation is balanced or unbalanced. Again, just tell me so that I can write the name of the element. First, which element I'll write? Yes, carbon. And the second one is? Yes, oxygen. Now just write down the numbers for carbon and oxygen on both the sides. Just see on the reactant side, carbon is 1 in number, and on the product side, it is also 1 in number. And oxygen is 2, reactant side, and on the product side, how many oxygen? Yes, 2 are present. So if we look here, both are balanced. So it is a, yes, absolutely true. It is a balanced chemical equation. And just look at these equations here in brackets. These alphabets are written, and these alphabets represents the state of that particular substance present in a reaction. Magnesium exists in solid state, oxygen exists in gaseous state, and magnesium oxide exists in solid state. Here again, carbon exists in solid state, which is represented by S, and oxygen exists in gaseous state, which is represented by G, and carbon dioxide gas exists in gaseous form. So it is also represented by symbol G. So this is about combination reaction. And the next reaction is decomposition reaction. So before doing decomposition reaction, I'll just discuss few questions which frequently asked in exam on the basis of combination reaction. And the questions be like, what will happen if calcium reacts with oxygen? As you can see here, when calcium reacts with oxygen, it results in the formation of calcium oxide. Yes, students, see here. Now tell me, what kind of reaction is this? Yes, absolutely true. It's a combination reaction. Because here two elements combined together, they form a product. So this is a combination reaction. And just see whether this reaction is balanced or not. Now let's check. Calcium 2 in number, here also 2. Oxygen is 2, here also 2. So this is a balanced chemical equation. And next question is, in exam might be they ask what is combination reaction, write an example. So in this you have to write definition of combination reaction, which is reactions in which two or more reactants combine together to form one product are called combination reactions. In the example of such kind of reaction is this one, or you can write any other examples which I have discussed with you. You can give this example also, this one also, or you can give this example or this one. Many more examples are also there. So you can write any one example of your choice. So here, nitrogen, when reacts with hydrogen, it results in the formation of ammonia. And just check again. So in this manner, we'll do practice for balancing chemical equations also. Nitrogen is 2, here also 2. Hydrogen is 6, and here hydrogen is also 6. So it's also a balanced chemical equation. So I hope students this combination reaction and balancing is very much clear to you. Now the next reaction is decomposition reaction. Decompose means to reduce. It's just exactly opposite to that of the combination reaction. In combination reaction, two or more reactants combine together to form a product. But in decomposition reaction, it's just opposite. Here, only one reactant breaks into or decomposes into, which results in the formation of two or more products. As you can see here, one example of such kind is when calcium carbonate is heated, it decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. When you see this, look here, alphabets which are written in the brackets, they depict the state of the substance. Whether it is a compound or element, this shows in which state it exists in the equation. Another example of such kind is when ferric hydroxide is heated, it decomposes into ferric oxide and water. So these are the examples of decomposition reaction. And here this symbol shows that we are providing heat when we are performing this reaction. If you remember, I told you about this symbol. Now we have different type of thermal decomposition reactions. First is thermal decomposition and electrolytic decomposition and photo decomposition. So we have different types of decomposition reactions: thermal, electrolytic and photolysis or photo. So first I'll discuss thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal means temperature, means heat. So the reaction in which we provide heat, when we are performing this reaction, we are providing heat. So this kind of reaction is known as thermal decomposition reaction. Now there are different types of decomposition reaction, and we have thermal decomposition reaction, electrolytic decomposition reaction, photolysis or photo decomposition reaction. First, I'll discuss thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal decomposition reaction means, thermal means heat, temperature. It means when the decomposition reaction takes place in presence of heat, or when we are providing heat to this reaction, it is known as thermal decomposition reaction. An example of such kind of reaction is when lead nitrate is heated, it breaks into lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide gases evolve and oxygen gases evolve. So this is an example of thermal decomposition reaction. Next is electrolytic decomposition. Electrolytic means electricity. It means somewhere electricity is involved. So the reaction in which compounds decompose into simpler one by passing electricity through it. So this is the difference between thermal and electrolytic. Students, in thermal we are providing heat, and in electrolytic decomposition we are providing electricity. So with the help of electricity, the breakdown of the substance takes place. So now, in this electrolytic decomposition, when electricity is passed, as you can see here reactant is water, and when we pass electricity, then it reduces or it breaks into hydrogen and oxygen gas. And the next example, next type of decomposition reaction is photolysis or photo decomposition reaction. So in this kind of reaction, it takes place. Photo means light. It means this reaction takes place in the presence of sunlight. So this is the difference between these three decomposition reactions. Thermal, when we are providing heat. electrolytic when we are providing electricity, and photolysis or photo when we are providing light during the reaction. An example of such kind of reaction is when silver chloride. Take some silver chloride and keep it in presence of sunlight. You'll observe that the color of the silver chloride, it changes. It becomes silver metal. It changes, its color changes to somewhat silver. So when silver chloride is put in sunlight, so it decomposes into silver metal and chlorine gas. This is very important question. Another example of such kind is like photographic paper. We use photographic paper. It has a coating of silver chloride which turns into gray color when exposed to sunlight. Why it happens? And the answer for this question is because silver chloride is colorless while silver is a gray metal. So these are very important questions which comes in exam on the basis of this. And what are the other questions can be asked in exam? First is write the uses of decomposition reaction. And in this question you can write decomposition reaction carried out by electricity, as just now I told you in electrolytic decomposition. When we are performing this electrolytic decomposition, it results in the extraction of certain metals from their naturally occurring compounds. Or when we pass electricity, it decomposes the metal chlorides or metal oxides and it results in the formation of pure metal at the cathode. Another question can come in exam. Define the following terms: thermal decomposition or electrolytic decomposition. So in this kind of question, students, what you need to do is you just write down the definition of thermal decomposition reaction and you can give one example which I have just discussed with you. And in electrolytic decomposition, also you have to write the definition of electrolytic decomposition and then give the example. Now next reaction is displacement reaction. Displace, it means just changing the place. Displace means changing the place of a substance. Now in displacement reaction, the reaction in which more reactive element displaces less reactive one. As you can see here, this is a reactivity series. This is known as reactivity series. Another reaction is displacement reaction. And the displacement reaction is that kind of reaction in which one element displaces the another one. And here, the element which displaces the another substance is the more reactive one. And it is based on this reactivity series. As you can see here, in this reactivity series, elements are shown. And these elements which are shown here, like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, so they all are more reactive than hydrogen. And the elements which are below hydrogen, it means they are less reactive than hydrogen. And this arrow sign shows their reactivity, the rate of reaction. As we are moving down, the rate of reaction decreases. It means the element which is at the topmost position is the most reactive one. And the element which is the last position is the least reactive. And that's the reason why we use gold for making ornaments. And we always keep potassium and sodium elements in a kerosene oil because they are highly reactive and they can easily react with oxygen. That's the reason why we keep this potassium and sodium in a kerosene oil. And this displacement reaction is totally dependent on this reactivity series. I'll explain you with the help of this example. When zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid. Now look at the reactivity series. Now tell me, students, where zinc is placed? Yes, here is the position of zinc and here is hydrogen. As I told you, the elements which are placed above hydrogen, they are more reactive. So zinc is more reactive than hydrogen, so it easily takes up its place and combines with chlorine and it becomes zinc chloride and hydrogen is removed. Another example of displacement reaction is when zinc reacts with copper sulfate. Now again, look at the reactivity series. Now tell me which one is more reactive, zinc or copper? Yes, zinc is more reactive. If we look at the reactivity series, zinc is placed above the copper. Here copper is present and here we have zinc. So zinc can easily displace copper and takes up its place and combines with sulfate and it becomes zinc sulfate and copper is left behind. Now this type of reaction is a displacement reaction. Here only one element displaces the another element. While in double displacement reaction, displacement takes place twice. There is exchange of ions. I'll just explain this with the help of an example. Just look here, A, B and C, D. These are two reactants and A displaces B and combines with C. Here B combines with D. One more example I'll give you so that it's easy for you to understand. When barium chloride reacts with sodium sulfate, just look here, barium takes up this place of sodium and then it combines with sulfate and it becomes barium sulfate and this sodium combines with chlorine and it becomes sodium chloride. So here you can see exchange of ions takes place. Double displacement takes place in this reaction. Or another example is when sodium hydroxide reacts with hydrochloric, Na combines with Cl, which results in the formation of sodium chloride, and H combines with this H and O and it becomes water. Now this is the difference between double displacement reaction and single displacement reaction. In displacement, only one element displaces other. In double displacement, there is exchange of ions takes place or twice displacement takes place. What type of question can come in exam? Like here, we have one sample of this question. What is the difference between single displacement and double displacement? Explain with the help of suitable examples. So in this type of question, you need to write definition of both single and double displacement along with one example, which I have just explained to you. Next reaction is precipitation reaction. Precipitation is that kind of reaction in which a precipitate is formed and it takes place between the mixing of aqueous solution of two salts. For example, when silver nitrate reacts with sodium chloride, it results in the precipitate of silver chloride, which is AgCl, and this is sodium nitrate. So this kind of reaction in which precipitate is formed is known as precipitation reaction. Next is neutralization reaction. The neutralization reaction is that kind of reaction in which acid and bases are combined together. They result in the formation of salt. Here they neutralizes the effect of each other and water is left behind. An example of such kind of reaction is when sodium hydroxide reacts with hydrochloric acid, it results in the formation of sodium chloride, which is salt, and water is left behind. And here sodium hydroxide is a base and this is an acid. So when acid and bases combine together, it results in the formation of salt and water is left behind. And this kind of reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Now, what type of question can come in exam? Let's see here what will happen if sodium hydroxide reacts with HCl. Write the reaction involved in it and name the type of reaction. So this is the reaction which I have just explained to you. This is the reaction is neutralization reaction, and here you need to write down the reaction involved. So you need to write this equation as well. So I hope this topic is clear to you, and if you have any doubt or any query, just write in the chat box. I'll clear your doubt. And students, from next, we are moving on our mobile app, and only subscribed members can view the videos. So please subscribe to our mobile app and enjoy learning. Thank you.